Remember that grow light that I set up a few months ago just so I can set up my indoor growing hydroponic tomato endeavor? Well, I wound up getting some indoor tomatoes, but I also got some problems. So let's find out what I did right and of course, what I did wrong. Let's go. What's going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy, and I need a little stress management because, wow, nursing is stressful, and that's a lot of memorization. So I figured I'd take a break from the books and show you guys what's going on, because literally I stare at this every single day in front of my desk. So, of course, mental stress relief through plants. Of course, it did not look like this the first time around because I have made some adjustments, but I also made some problems because, yeah, why wouldn't I make some problems? Did I hear it from my dad, of course, too? Yes, I did. I know, I'm always kind of screwing up, but I'm always learning along the way, and of course, I'm telling you what I make mistakes on and what I get right. If you've been following my channel, or maybe you're new to my channel, I do a lot of gardening, but also my dad does a lot of gardening because, frankly, I got the gardening bug from him. So if I'm not gonna be on these videos, my dad sure is. And we're both actually growing a bunch of veggies indoor, hydroponic wise, throughout the entire wintertime. This has grown for a while. I've added plants. I've had a lot of success, but I've also made a little bit of a mistake. But then again, when don't I make mistakes? But that's okay. You make mistakes, but you learn from it. So let's figure out what I did right and what I did wrong. So what I did wrong, number one, is give too much nutrients. Way too much nutrients. As you see, this burnt up to a crisp. I've mentioned it in the Aero Garden. I've mentioned in a bunch of other videos that I've done, is that if you give nutrients way too much or way too concentrated, it will crisp up and burn and die. And this is a perfect example of it. Okay? Crispy, crispy, crispy. I did manage to get some tomatoes out of it though. Okay? Some of them are all right, but it did work. Let's check out the other ones. Okay. Here we go. This one is actively crisping up as we speak. I mean, it really is. And I'm like, what the heck did I do wrong? If this happens to you, the crisping up and the dying and all that, it's okay, man. It's okay. Because we make mistakes. We're human. But we can learn from these mistakes. And that's what therapy and that's what self-improvement is all about. Now, of course, with all my tomatoes and my other little plants that I have here, they're all in Kratky method. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Kratky, I'll drop a few links down below so you can go check out what I'm talking about, because I've been dabbling into Kratky for about at least a year already. So, now if you know anything about the Kratky method, which means, their whole master blend nutrients is set up for a 5-gallon bucket. So if you're not setting up your hydroponics in a 5-gallon bucket, then you're gonna have to do some math equations and whatnot. Of course, I didn't do that because I was not paying attention at all. So I wound up putting the concentration of 5 gallons worth of nutrients into 1 gallon. And that's why my stuff crisped up like nobody's business. I mean, I still managed to get tomatoes, so that was cool. Only problem is, the plant is dying. So once that's not good. But let's see how they taste. Sour? Not bad, because obviously it tastes like a tomato. Sour. Considering that master blend is meant for 5 gallons and the fact that I put all 5 gallons worth of nutrients into 1 gallon, crisp. Crispy crisp, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. The larger water containers that I have right there, this is about 2.5 gallons worth. And of course I screwed that up too. I did. I put way too many nutrients in that sucker and also was starting to crisp up. So that was definitely my fault. Obviously, I have learned from that. Now, that brings me to this section right there. These tomatoes in this area and that lower section right there, that's actually gonna be for other upcoming videos that I did not screw up the nutrients on, and those are growing very well, no crisping up or anything like that. Another cool thing is, of course, I like to push my limits because that's just what I do, and I wound up adding a lot more other stuff to this grow light. I like to push boundaries. I like to push the limits. I want to know what would happen if you did something. So, of course, with that grow light that I set up last time, I extended how many plants that you can have. Vivo Sun said that you can do a 4x4 space when it comes to your, whatever you're growing. I wanted to test that. I really did. I knew that certain houseplants can be kept around in lower amounts of light. So that's what I did. I filled it in, all the remaining areas, with houseplants that I knew could survive without not having a lot of light. Which brings me to that. Bam! Look at that. Isn't that cool? Guys, gals, I need stress management. All right? Stress needs to be gone. So, of course, I got my plants. As you see right here, I got a gutter system. Now, of course, that's Kratky. Also, I can thank Keep On Growing with Mike Van Doozy. He has an awesome channel. Me and my dad follow him a lot. But look at that. It actually works, bro. I'm testing everything. And I got broccoli back there. Is that broccoli? Did I expect to grow some broccoli? No, not at all. But then yet, here we are. I'm experimenting. And frankly, I just wanted to throw it in there and see how well it did. The broccoli is actually doing pretty darn well. It was basically kind of like I set it there and I forgot about it. Like literally, I totally forgot that they were there. And then the next thing you know, I got some big ass broccoli in the background. Thing is huge. Now, will I get any actual broccoli? I don't know. But now I want to find out because that sounds super interesting if I can get broccoli growing inside of my house. Awesome. Look at that. That's pretty cool. This is actually, I think, a Christmas cactus or a Thanksgiving cactus. Not really sure. I was going by the flower. But isn't that cool? I mean, I just have it here just for shits and giggles, really. And it's like booming. Like, that's awesome. My personal life is a little on the stressful side, okay? If you've been following me, of course, you know that nursing is not easy at all. And it sucks up a lot of my time. And it is really stressful. I'm basically re-downloading a bunch of information and upgrading a lot of the information that I already have in my brain. Studying for nursing or any kind of exam or licensing exam for that matter is very, very mentally taxing. It really is, and it can possibly drain us. That's why it's really good to find a stress outlet. Find something that you know that can calm you down, that can chill you out. Something to, kind of distract you from the stressor or the mentally draining thing that you were doing before. Okay, I got another thing that my good friend from Texas sent me, and also I learned it in class before I switched over to nursing. I actually am growing some elderberry cuttings. Humidity is a must for some things, and especially if you're growing from cuttings or anything like that, humidity is so helpful. I also have to do something with this. I'm strapped for time, as you can see, because a lot of my stuff is, I gotta do something with it. I actually have to repot it. Look at them roots. Root porn! Cool, right? The only thing is, though, is that I actually gotta repot it or redo something with it, because as you see, it's going green, and I can't have that. So, I gotta do something about that. Another thing, if you check out in the back of the wall, I noticed something different. Mylar sheeting that you can buy, of course, that I put up on my wall is very, very reflective. And that's what you use for when you're doing grow lights or grow tents and whatnot, or you wanna just kind of concentrate a lot of the lighting onto a particular area. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to waste any light just being sucked up by the wall. Or, white is reflective, but not nearly as reflective as Mylar. And that's what I did. Now, is it kind of pricey? Maybe a little bit. But, of course, my dad hooked it up and did aluminum foil on the walls. Was it just as effective? Actually, it was. Now, of course, my dad did not buy Mylar. And, of course, I asked him if he wanted some Mylar because I had extra. He said, no, I'm gonna be using some aluminum foil, and it was mad cheap. And of course, that's what he did, and it worked just as good. As one thing I have noticed is mealybugs. Mealybugs. But mealybugs are not on my vegetable plants. Mealybugs are literally only on my house plants. But that's for another video. Mealybugs. Here's one of my cats. This is Noodles right here. Noodles is never in my videos because she is a hermit and lives inside of my room. Never comes out except to feed. That's it. You always see ramen, but this is Noodles. Welcome to my other area. Of course, you got Noodles. The fat ass is eating right here because she doesn't do anything except for just eat and sleep. That's her contribution to the household. Eating and sleeping. This is where I'm growing my seedlings for the tomatoes and peppers, of course. Of course, I'll get into that in another video, but for now, these are all my seedlings and they're in hydroponics. Actually, except for that fern back there. And this is actually gonna be for another video upcoming in the future. This is for carrots. I'm actually growing carrots inside. Look at that. Carrots, baby, inside of my house. All of these are just cuttings from the tomato plants that are in existence that are a dwarf variety. So that means that they are gonna give me suckers So I'm taking off those suckers, getting them to root up, and then that's what I'm gonna be growing to get more tomatoes. It's small, but that's a pepper. I'm growing some peppers. I always have stuff for upcoming videos. It's just a matter of how am I going to find the time to get to it. But this is going to be for my indoor NFT hydro system, and I'm growing the seedlings right now. This is no soil in this at all. Actually, I think the only thing I really screwed up on was the amount of nutrients that I put in my containers. Other than that, I think I'm doing pretty darn good. So I can't complain, okay? If you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to show me some love and smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, then consider subscribing. I drop a video when I can. Ha! If it's not gonna be me, it's gonna be my dad, because we're both in this apparently together, whether he likes it or not. I'm dragging him in with me. He doesn't know it, but I'm dragging him slowly, little by little. When in doubt, if you can't find me here, then you'll definitely find me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. Basically, in my personal life, so I'm on there in general. Until the next episode, you guys, you and me both are going to be growing our happiness one plant at a time, one day at a time. I'll check y'all later. Peace and love. Till the next time.